In today's video, we're doing all new home hacks you need to try this holiday season. Walmart has all the holiday decor you need to decorate this holiday season, and I want to thank Walmart for sponsoring this video. And everything I'm showing you in today's video will be linked for you down in the description box. I had to find these viral stocking holders. I was able to find 2 of them on Walmart. These are so cute. They look so high end. I'm gonna be placing these on my mantle. Now, what stockings am I gonna put on my mantle? I wanted to keep it a little bit neutral this year. I found these stockings by My Texas House. They're really pretty, but they have a little bit of gold glitter to them. Now, I love to do hang tags with names, but to do something a little bit different this year, I'm gonna add on photos. So we wanted to personalize my stockings with photos. Do you guys remember my Sprocket printer? I've been printing so many pictures off of there. You can print 2x3 photos on the Sprocket printer. So I'm gonna go into my phone, find my favorite photos of my daughters, and then I'll print them out. I will link to where you can pick up the Sprocket down below in the description box, along with any of the items I'm showing you in today's video. Now, to make a frame for my little pictures, you don't have to do a lot. I picked up this gift bag and I'm gonna cut it out. I'm gonna use it as a backing for my photos. Once I figure out where I want it, I'm gonna attach my picture on with some glue dots, and then I'm gonna cut it out to make the paper look like a tag. All right, so I think that turned out really cute. I'm gonna attach these to my stockings, but I have to do the same thing with my other picture. All right, let's put our stockings together. I'm gonna attach my photo labels using a little bit of twine. So I'm just going to put a hole at the top of my tag. I'll try to do it in the center. Now I'm gonna lace through my twine. So I really want to add in this ribbon, so I'm just going to use the twine to attach it to my hanging piece here. So I'll just cut off a little bit of twine and I'm going to tie it around. Doesn't have to be perfect, just do a little double knot. And then I'll trim off any excess. I'm just gonna tie a little bit of this neutral ribbon around the top here just to give it a little something extra. So I have the ribbon on, now I just need to tie it in a knot up here. All right, so I'm gonna figure out how long I want the ribbon to be, and then I'm just gonna fold it in half like this and cut towards the middle to make it look like that. Here's one of my decorating tricks you can try with your stockings. So when your stockings are sitting out on your mantle, to make them look a little bit more full, you can buy some picks. These are so gorgeous, and I'm gonna add one of these to each of my stockings. When I saw these large paper trees on Walmart, I got so excited, I had to pick them up. Now they come in a couple of colors. I went with these green ones. So this has Velcro tabs on either side. So I'm just gonna open it up and Velcro it together. Now this one is another tree, 47 inches tall. This one was 35, this one's 47. So this one has 2 pieces to it. Start with this one, and we're just going to open it up and put it together with the Velcro. Okay, this is the top piece. So I'm gonna set this top piece down on here. Now I have to tell you, these went together so easily. I think I'm gonna move my ottomans. Now, if you don't need them to be this big, although I think they're so cool, you can get a little tabletop set. These actually go together easier. They have magnets instead of the Velcro. I love that. How cute are these? I found the cutest dishes to use for any of your holiday gatherings. This one right here was the first one that caught my eye. It's 2 bowls. They come with lids. I absolutely love these. I feel like they're gonna come in handy. I found some matching dishes. These are mini pie plates, but I'm gonna show you a different way you can use these. And then this right here, I couldn't leave this. This is a cutting board that's a snowflake. If you're having a celebration and you need to get items fast, I love using Walmart Express Delivery. You can get items sent straight to your door in as fast as 1 hour. Let's make a cheese board with this cute snowflake cutting board. Start with any cheese. I'm gonna be using brie and I'm gonna place it in the center of my cutting board. Next, I'm gonna cut the brie into 8s. You should have 8 triangles now. We wanna make this look like a snowflake. So to do that, I'm going to create a diamond in each one of my triangle wedges. Go down to one of your wedges and do 1 cut in, and then you're just going to turn your knife the other way and cut down. Don't worry if it doesn't look perfect, it's all gonna blend together. Now your cheese is cut up so people can just take out little wedges. I wanna dress it up a little bit more, so I'm gonna add some rosemary around the edge, and then I'll top it with cranberries to look like berries around a wreath. Now I could add the crackers around the edge, but I love how you can see the outside of the snowflake. So I'm gonna use this bowl that I picked up and I'm just gonna add the crackers in here. I love having wall art out for the holidays, but I don't want to spend a lot of money on it because it's only out for a month or 2. So let me show you an inexpensive hack you can try. You want to pick up one of these cute gift bags. I found all of these really cute ones in black and white. They were super affordable. The other thing I got are these frames. So I got one frame that was 12 by 16. I also got an 8 by 10 frame and a 4 by 6 frame. Let me show you how to turn these into holiday wall art. So this bag is going to be for my larger frame, and then for my 8 by 10 I'm gonna try to put the Santa on here. And then I know this bag is a little bit bigger, but I think that I'm going to focus on the top of this tree for my 4 by 6 frame. So let's start with the larger one, and I'm just going to take out this piece in here because that's gonna be my template to cut out the bag. I'm gonna put the template down. I'll just use a pencil to draw where I need to cut out. Now that I have it cut out, I'm just gonna place it into my frame. Hopefully I cut it the right size. Now the bag that I'm gonna be using for the 8 by 10 frame is a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to put my template down and position it. I wanna make sure I keep this part of Santa's hat. So I think I'm gonna put it right here, and I'll just do the same steps. I'll just draw around it with a pencil. Now I'll just cut it out. Okay, let's work on our smaller one. I'm going to concentrate on getting the top of the tree. All right, I think this is gonna be perfect for my tree. I'm gonna cut it out and then we'll add it to our frame. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Comment the word of the day, which is Christmas. Let me show you a way you could put a really cute bow on the front of your present. So I want you to wrap your present like you would normally. So save your scraps of ribbon like this. I think the satin ribbon for what I'm gonna show you to do works really well because it looks great on both sides. So find the center point and then you're just going to tie a bow like this. Then you can attach it. You could use hot glue. I'm just gonna use a little glue dot to place it in the center. So we want to make our ribbon look like it's curling. So you're gonna take your ribbon, curl it, and then you're going to place it down with a glue dot where it touches your box. Then repeat that step, twist it up, and then hold it in place with a glue dot. Twist it again, and another glue dot. I don't think I'm gonna make it one more time, so I'm gonna turn it a bit and create a cute little end to it. So I'll fold it together and then I'm just going to cut it. All right, let's repeat those steps on the other side. How adorable did that turn out? Decorating your stairs for the holidays can be a bit intimidating. Let me show you my quick tips so you can do it as well. You're gonna need to start with a garland. This is one that I got on Walmart. It's the 9-foot Sonoma cypress garland. So the first thing you're gonna do is just stretch your garland out. Now, I don't really like to fluff it until I put it on the mantle, but I'm gonna start by stretching it out. And then I'm gonna find the side that has this little hook. This is gonna go at the top of my stairs, and using a zip tie, I'm gonna attach it to my stairs. I wrapped the circle part behind my railing, put a zip tie through it, and then pulled tightly to hold it in place. I'm gonna cut off the excess part here, and then we'll come back to this. So I determined where the center of my stairs were. Now I'm going to make a little bit of a loop here, and then I'm going to zip tie this on. All right, so we're about halfway there with adding the garland on. I have it at the top, right here. Now I need to do it down here. So I'm gonna make my loop come up about the same distance that I did right there. And you guessed it, I'm gonna put a zip tie at the bottom. So this is a wire garland, so I need to go through and fluff out each and every branch to make it look nice. I'm gonna get a step ladder so I can really get up high here and make sure it looks great from the front. So when you get here, take one of your branches and wrap it around where you put that zip tie. So I bought the exact same garland, and I want to add it on top of the existing garland to make it look nice and full. So basically we're gonna repeat all of those same steps with just adding on an additional garland. I put the center zip tie on. Now I wanna go back and see if I can fluff them and kind of mix them together to make sure I put it at the right size before I keep going. So I'm gonna fluff this one out the exact same way, but I am gonna take both of the branches and kind of twist them together so it looks like I only did one garland. Take some of the branches from the back garland and twist them up to the front. Now when I'm putting together a stair garland or for my mantle, I rarely just do one garland. You can use this to create so much more texture by putting on different types of garlands, or you can do one like this where I'm just making it look really full with 2 garlands. I do recommend spend time on this step because this is gonna make your garland look so much better when you add things like your ribbon or any ornaments. I found this ribbon by My Texas House. It's this gorgeous red velvet. It's a 5-inch wide ribbon. So I want to create a really pretty bow right here with long tails. I'm also going to do another one in the middle and then one up top. So I'm going to find the center of my piece. Now because these spools were 20 feet long, I cut a piece that is 10 feet long. So I'm going to tie it around my garland where the wire is. All right, so I want to tie a really good knot right here. It's important to have our pretty side facing out because this is the pretty side and this side we don't want to show. So I'm going to create a loop with my pretty side and then I'm going to wrap it around and then I'm going to come through to create my bow. Now as I'm doing this, I'm going to pull my loops out. But I can always twist and turn things, like right here in the middle, as long as you don't pull it super tight. See how I can adjust that? So I don't want my bow to be really big, just good size. Now see here, I have the back showing. We gotta flip that so we can see the front. Now I like my ribbon to kind of go into my garland. So I'm gonna move it so that it's part of this garland. Now I'm not gonna cut it off because I wanna make sure that I can make them all about the same size. I think the bows are looking awesome. I'm gonna trim them right about at my stair level, and I'm gonna trim at an angle. Let's put together some bells for my stair garland. I found these adorable indoor-outdoor cups on Walmart. These are gonna be the base of my bell. You're also going to need some wood rings. So I cut my wood rings in half, and then I'm gonna use E6000 to attach the wood rings to the bottom of my cups. You wanna use a generous amount of E6000. Let this dry for several hours, then you're going to spray paint these bells. Now, since you're making them, you can do any color you want. You could go gold or red. I'm gonna be using the color Sand Dollar. This is one of my favorite neutral spray paints, and I'll do 2 coats on all the bells. I also wanted to add in a stone texture spray. Now that my bells are dry, I'm gonna add dowel rods in the center of each of the bells. You're gonna add a generous portion of hot glue on the end of your dowel rod, and then you're gonna place it in the center of your bell. And I'll repeat that on the other bells. Now, to attach these bells to my garland, I want to use twine, but I don't know exactly how high I want them to be. So for now, I'm just going to take my twine and loop through a longer piece. That way, when I put them on the garland, I can adjust them. So I'm going to attach my bells down here, and I'm just going to hold them the height that I want them, and then I'll tie them around the wire. To finish off my stairs, I'm gonna add on my red nutcracker. Now, I bought this last year on Walmart, but they have it again this year. Here's how my stairs turned out. Let's make some fun treats for the holidays. For this next one, you're going to need a craft cone. I'm gonna start by wrapping that cone with a press and seal, or you can use any saran wrap. Now, if you've never made one of these cone trees, they're really fun. You can add so many different things to them. I picked up some green grapes, and I'm just going to put the green grapes into the cone tree with a toothpick. This is fun to serve because they can just take a grape out and eat it. So I think that I'm going to snap these toothpicks in half because I don't need a full toothpick. So I'm just gonna place half of a toothpick in, and then I'll add the grape on top. So I have the bottom layer down. Now I'm just gonna keep working my way up. So I wanna use this dish as my base. So I'm actually going to flip it upside down, and I'll place my grape tree on there, and then I'll keep adding the grapes. Now that all the grapes are on, I want to fill in where I have holes. So I bought some cranberries, and I'm going to just put those on the end of toothpicks and place them in wherever I can see kind of that base underneath. So I ran out of my regular toothpicks, and I had to switch to these longer toothpicks. So I'm just going to snap these in half, and that'll be about the right size for putting on the cranberries. And I'm placing the toothpicks in first and then adding on the cranberry. Now that the cranberries are added, I need to put something on top. So I think I'm gonna use my toothpicks and add some cranberries to the top. Here's how it turned out. It took a little bit of time, but it was actually really easy to do. How gorgeous is this glass tree that I found from my Texas house? It's gonna look so pretty sitting out in my decor. I love how many ornaments they have on Walmart, and every year I like to pick a theme for my tree. This year I went with reds and greens. Now I do think when you're adding ornaments, it's great to have larger ornaments as well. So my Texas house has these flocked ornaments, and they're a little bit larger. They have them in green and red. I went with the green ones for my tree. So I found this larger pack of ornaments that I love that it kind of had this muted look to them in reds and greens, and these were perfect to really put all over my tree. Or you could also get one of these ornament garlands. Walmart really has everything you need to decorate for the holidays. They have ornaments that are starting at just $2. I'm loving this year these red nutcracker ornaments. They have 2 styles available right now. One of the most frequent questions I get asked this time of year is how I make the large bows that I have on my tree. And they're actually fairly easy to do, and I'm gonna give you my quick tips so you can make them at home. The first thing you have to think about is ribbon, and not all ribbon is created equal when it comes to bows. So I like to pick between 4 to 6 ribbons for a large bow. Now, what do you need for your ribbons? You need to get wired ribbon. That's the only way your ribbon is going to create those big loops. Now, if you're going for a flowy bow, you don't have to have that, but if you're looking for those big billowy bows, you have to have wire ribbon. Now, depending on the size of your ribbon, I usually like to go with at least 2 inches. Sometimes I go 3-inch ribbon. It just depends. Like, I can go up to 4 inches on the ribbon, but at least 2 inches is going to give you a nice full bow. The other thing you need are zip ties. These are going to help to really hold your bow securely together. I like to use zip ties to hold my bow together and to attach it to my tree or my garland or whatever I'm adding it to. Walmart has a lot of great ribbon. I've been loving these velvet ribbons by My Texas House. They're so pretty. I'm going to be using several of those. So start by figuring out which ribbon you want to be on the top, and then just kind of lay them out so you're ready to add them. So I think this is the order I'm going to go with for my ribbon. Start with your first ribbon, and the main thing you got to keep in mind is a lot of these ribbons are not two-sided. So we're going to do everything we can to show the pretty side of our ribbon and not the side that's not finished. So to start doing that, I'm going to create a loop like this, okay? This is about how big I want my loops to be. If you want them bigger, make them bigger. If you want them smaller, make them smaller. And as you keep adding loops, you can make them a little bit larger, but start with about the size you want it to be. So I'm going to start on one side, make a loop, then I'm going to take it to the back and make another loop holding it in the middle so that they're about the same size. Now see here, it's not the pretty side, so I'm going to twist it in the back. And then what I like to do is make a long tail, because if I'm adding this to my tree, this is going to be a pretty tail that's going to cascade down. Now the hard part is if you're holding it in your right hand, you got to figure out how to cut it with your left hand, which I'm not very good at. So I'm gonna cut off a long tail. Now let's add on our next ribbon. So I'm kind of lucky with this one that it looks good on both sides. So you want a little bit of a tail before you loop it, just because if you don't have this amount, it could go through whenever you're fluffing it out. So you wanna put at least 5 or 6 inches as part of your tail. So start here making the loops about the same size, okay? Now what's cool about this bow is it doesn't have to be perfect. So if they're a little bit off, that's okay. So I'm gonna put it there, gather it, and then I'm gonna take it and create a loop on the bottom. So I have a loop here, and then I'm gonna do the same thing, cutting the long tail. So we got 2 ribbons. And you see here how I started on different sides. So I have this on this side, this on this side. Sometimes I forget to alternate. So just, try to remember, but it's not a big deal. Okay, we got the velvet ribbon here. So I'm gonna show you how we're going to make it so you can see the pretty side. All right, I'm gonna start on this side with my long tail, gather it together. Then I'm gonna come in and make our loop, making sure the pretty side is facing out. Then I'm gonna cinch it together. Okay, now if I made another loop the way it is, it would be the back side. So when I'm holding it here, I'm gonna twist it like this, okay? Now my pretty side goes out. And I'm just gonna make the loop on this side. Again, do your best to make them the same size. Now, to make my long tail, I'm gonna twist it underneath, make my tail about the same size, and cut it off. Okay, 3 ribbons down. However many ribbons you add is gonna be up to you depending on how big and fluffy you want your bow to be. I'm gonna keep going. So I'm gonna go in with this white ribbon, and I'll do a little backing piece. Make sure that my velvety side is facing out. I'll make my loop, and then I'm going to twist on the back, make my loop again. Okay, kind of pull it off there. Otherwise it's twisted up. I'll make my loop again. If your ribbon's twisted up, it's gonna be kind of hard to determine how big your loops are. And then I'll twist it in the back, and then I'll cut off my long piece. Okay, last ribbon. I'm gonna start with this red ribbon. I'm gonna make the loop on this side, twist, go over to this side, make my loop, twist, and then pull a long piece. Added 5 ribbons. I think that's plenty. Now, I have it all gathered in the middle. To secure it, zip tie. So I'm gonna bring my zip tie in, and I'm gonna tie it in the very center. All right, so I like to just trim the excess off. Remember our shorter tails? Before I start fluffing, I'm gonna find those, and I'm just going to cut those at an angle. Like, see this one? This was like the start of the ribbon, so I wanna make sure that I cut that pretty. This next step is what I think people determine to be the trickiest part, and it's fluffing out the bow. Honestly, I think this part is the most fun. So what you're gonna do, I'll just show you with one of these. You're gonna start at the top, and you're going to take your bow, and you're just going to create a loop like that. And because you use the wire ribbon, it's gonna stand up nice and tall like that. Now for me, the trickiest part is mixing the colors. So like right here, you see I have a lot of like reds and golds. So what I like to do is pull, because it's not gonna be perfect. So you wanna like pull that red one through there to break that up a bit. So you don't have 2 whites next together or 2 reds. So just take your bow and move it around, fluffing it out. And if for any reason you see the back side, you can always try twisting your pieces. Those are the basic steps to create your bow. Now I can add it to my tree or a wreath or anything, and it's gonna look great. Now with these longer pieces, you can kind of fluff them out as well on your tree, but these are the basic steps on how I make my bows. Let me know down in the comments what items you're gonna be picking up to decorate for the holidays. I love knowing your opinion, and make sure you subscribe because I wanna see you back here, and I'll see you in our next one. Bye.